I'm still freedom obsessed, and from what I can tell, there are two main reasons why I'm still freedom obsessed. And one reason why I'm so freedom obsessed is because I want to be creative at all times, and the other reason why I'm freedom obsessed is because I want to change the world. Change the world. I will be your sunlight in your universe. Yeah, that said, first issue about being creative at all times, well, it just turned out that way. Or to put it as Jacques Fresco often puts it, I'm a victim of culture, and something in the culture, I guess, stimulated my creativity. So I'm a creative person, and I think creativity is the deal. So I'm totally into it, and gonna be as creative as I want to be. And what I can tell, you need freedom to be creative, because without freedom, when you're in a let's say a totalitarian situation, for lack of better words, you can't really be as creative as you want to be, because the powers that be are going to restrict your freedoms, and I definitely don't like that sort of thing. Of course, one might say that I'm fortunate to live in the United States of America, often referred to as the freest nation in the history of the world, though in some cases that might not necessarily be true, but let's say it's true. With that being the case, I should be able to have all the creative freedom I want, but from my experience, that's not necessarily true. I'll admit that, for the most part, my creative freedom is maintained, but I do have a problem with the so-called society and its resistance to creativity. And when you think about it, it's kind of a different issue, but I'm going to combine them anyway. The issue of that's the issues of freedom of obsession and creativity, or maybe they are related. But what I want to get at is, I guess, criticisms that people have made toward my view of creativity. Now, I'm not saying they have no right to criticize me. They can criticize me as often as they want and whatever, but I also have the right to criticize their criticisms. So one of the problems that I'm concerned about here in this particular situation is that, yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I tend to produce comics of a science and science fiction angle to them, and I've been told by certain people that nobody wants to buy science and science fiction comics. I do understand that that's the case, and I've understood that to be the case for years, but I'm still going to do my science and science fiction comics. Let's see, one of the reasons I'm going to keep doing them is because, like I said before, I want to change the world, and you can't change the world if you keep doing the same thing over and over again. But at the same time, it looks as if I am doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, I refuse to change how I do my comics, but if I do change how I do my comics to make them more mainstream, I won't be as creative as I want to be. Then, at the same time, if I keep doing my comics the way I do them, they won't sell. But I often think that selling comics might not necessarily be based on conforming to some standard of some sort, but it's more on the manipulative marketing situation. I'm going to call it that. Some kind of manipulative marketing. I mean, with the right marketing, you can persuade people to eat their own shit. At least that's what I've heard. But my problem is that I suck at marketing. I've sucked at it for decades, and that's why I can barely sell comics. But I want to get back to the criticism problem, and as I said before, numerous people have told me that my comics are unsellable unless I make them mainstream and normal, and I refuse to do that because I want to be creative at all times. I remember one time some years ago when a former friend, who I consider a current enemy, expressed extreme I guess, hostility toward my refusal to change the way I do my comics. How do I put it? I think she basically said, I forgot what she said. All I know is that she said something to the effect that I can't sell comics unless I make them normal. And my response, I'm not sure of the response I gave her. I probably said something like, I'm going to do my comics my way or something like that. That's my guess. Whatever. But in more recent time, a Facebook friend criticized me for not changing how I do my comics. I mean, he correctly noted that I pretty much have been doing the same stuff for years, for decades, and that's why I can't sell comics, and I'm aware of that. But again, I have to note that I want to be creative at all times, and there is a justification for this, and justification can be seen throughout history. What am I trying to get at? Okay. The issue of being creative at all times seems to also be connected to being a nonconformist. Yes, that's me. Top-notch nonconformist. Yeah, population of 7 billion. I'm the only one who came up with the idea for Wino, the whiny cat. Anyway, talk about the issue of nonconformity and how it helps with creativity. And there is, as I said before, there's a historical precedent for this. All the top-notch people in history that you remember that are constantly spoke of were the nonconformists. I mean, this is old news. I mean, I think you should know this already, but for some reason, a lot of people just keep forgetting that. But I'm going to reiterate that anyway. So, anyway, history shows that people who aren't regular, aren't the normals, are the ones who change the world. Yeah, my next issue. Anyway, they're the ones who change the world. They're the ones who invented new things, created new things. Want to give an example? I think the only example I want to give is Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, everybody loves Martin Luther King Jr. And I get the impression that the reason why he is so remembered throughout history is because he wasn't normal. He wasn't conforming. I mean, he could have conformed, and if he had, American history might be different. And I make that statement knowing full well that some people are going to probably disagree with me on that, which in my mind doesn't make sense, but that's how things work. I think I can say one more thing about this particular area, this particular issue. Let's say that I do continue doing comics the way I do and continue to try to be as creative as I want to be and whatever. There's a possibility it might work out. There's a possibility I might be able to change the world with my comics or whatever, or help get a resource-based economy running. I think all I need is to figure out how to effectively persuade people. I guess that's a nice way to put it. But right now, it looks like that could be years, possibly decades away. Nevertheless, I'm still going to be as creative as I want to be. And as a freedom-obsessed person, I got to be creative at all times. Now, the second issue, changing the world. I kind of brought that up earlier with the Martin Luther King example. And I do want to change the world because the world as it is extremely dangerous and deadly. I mean, we live in an age of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. And as such, the technology exists to kill 1 billion people in 30 minutes time. I repeat, right now, in the early 21st century, the technology exists to kill 1 billion people in 30 minutes time. I can imagine that if you went back in time 100 years and asked the top military experts of the day if they could kill 1 billion people in 30 minutes time, they'd probably say, you're completely nuts. We'd be lucky if we could kill 1 billion people in 30 years, let alone 30 minutes. Yep, that was the case 100 years ago, but now, mass killing on a multi multi-billion dollars. I say mass killing by the billions is entirely possible. If I do not like that. Yeah, because I got plans, I got goals, I got all kinds of awesome stuff I want to do for the future, and if I'm destroyed in a nuclear war, I'm not going to be able to do that. So that's the main reason why I want to change the world. Some might say it's selfish, but selfishness is not necessarily a bad thing. If selfishness, oh man, this shirt's kind of bother me. Anyway, if selfishness leads to a productive goal, then I don't see anything wrong with that. Or maybe I'm not being selfish, but whatever the case, got to change the world and make the world more peaceful, because human survival depends on it, and quite possibly the survival of life on Earth depends on it. So I could be a so-called normal person, not try to change the world, let this what I call a fucked up piece of shit pseudo society continue and then destroy itself and destroy everybody else. Or I could do what I can to help change the world so that human destruction doesn't happen anytime soon. Unfortunately, I've noticed that a lot of people do want the human race destroyed. I guess they're free to have that opinion, but my advice to them is kill yourself first. I mean, if you think the human race deserves to die, then you're human yourself, then why are you still alive? You're contradicting your agenda. I think I'd like to bring up how we can prevent human destruction and so forth, but not have any prominent ideas right now. Wait, I do have a prominent idea. Resource-based economy, yes. I've said this numerous times. Resource-based economy is a scientifically based system of running human affairs that, at least from my point of view, is a significant improvement over the current monetary system, where people have to earn the right to live. As opposed to in a resource-based economy, people automatically have the right to live because they're human. If you're human, you automatically have the right to live in an RBE. In a monetary system, you have to earn the right to live, and even if you do everything right, you can still not deserve to live. That's fracking stupid. But of course, the problem here is the need to persuade enough people to change the world in such a way that we're not all war bent on total destruction and whatnot. And as I said before, I suck at persuasion. Perhaps in the future I can figure out how to do it better. But then again, I'm under the impression I do know how to persuade. But persuasion requires me to change my personality. I wouldn't necessarily say that. Let's say it requires me to change my personality. And I think my personality as it is why I'm so creative. And yet, I'm not persuading people, knowing full well that persuasion is what's needed to change the world. Yep, I'm aware of the irony and so forth. And hopefully something will improve, and then I can say I was right or whatever. I'm not sure what to say next. So I'm kind of at a loss for words at this point in time. So there's always the future, and then maybe do another video on this issue or other videos on this issue. And with that being the case, see you later, Ralph Nader.